When Grappling Greg and Wrecking Ball Legursky want to watch the moving picture box, we tune into the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is April 7th, 2015. Welcome to the award-winning Squared Circle.
Where's the award?
And where is that award?
Where's the belt?
Where's the belt?
Right.
The Utes took it.
All right, we got enough from the peanut gallery last week. We're not going to take it this week.
I know.
We're
Let's
gonna have to
keep
start
quieting
cleaning
them
house.
back.
They must be.
Cleaning house.
I know. We have a skeleton studio audience this week. We'll keep it like that. We know there's thousands of people watching out there in TV land.
I think the weather kept them away.
Millions in the millions, I should say.
Keep believing that.
Hollywood J. Williams here, along with Ruckus Man himself.
That's Ruckus Man. I like that.
Ruckus Man.
It's like the Elton John song.
Right. John Zimmerman and Dangerous Dan in the back, as usual.
Excellent.
And for those of you who did not see Raw was a bit mundane and boring, coming off of a more exciting one last week.
Right.
No Michael Cole back this week. He was off selling up his injury via Brock Lesnar.
Right.
JBL reportedly had surgery, but he was back. Booker T was a little banged up. Which I can't understand why a table would do so much damage to two people that used to be former champions. But that's neither here nor there. It was a little bit mundane, boring. The only thing we accomplished last night was setting up the main event for the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, which will be Seth Rollins taking on Randy Orton for the WWE title. Randy Orton winning a three-way match versus Roman Reigns and Ryback. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's that, and as well as a rematch for the U.S. title between John Cena. This time, John Cena defending the U.S. title against Rusev, which brings us to a little more exciting than that whole 3-hour snooze fest last night called Raw.
Right.
Was the Chris Jericho podcast.
Yes.
With John Cena, which took place promptly at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Went off at midnight, and this is replacing the Steve Austin podcast on the WWE Network.
Yes.
Which is a lot of rumors as to why it was replacing the Austin podcast, but we'll get that a little bit later. But Chris Jericho, John Cena. This is the first time John Cena, I believe, has even been on that podcast. This is the first time I've ever even seen the Chris Jericho podcast.
Right. He's been doing the Talk of Jericho for quite some time now, and it's one of my favorites. I do like the Ross Report. Jim Ross's podcast, but I like Jericho's because not only is it wrestling, he also has a lot of contacts in the music business, particularly in hard rock, heavy metal. So it's right in my wheelhouse, and it's really entertaining, And Jericho usually has interesting guests, and he lets them talk. It's not about all about Jericho. Unlike like a Howard Stern show, it's all about him and not the guest.
Right, right.
He knows how to ask the right questions and then sit back and let his guests talk,
right,
and get their their stories and points across. But I think I don't know. John Cena was still in character. He didn't shoot as we saw Vince McMahon do with Steve Austin, and kind of step out of character and really be honest and frank. And even the Triple H, appearance on the podcast was a little more of a shoot interview than a work.
Right.
But John Cena was just
John Cena was mostly, I'd say, trying to stay close to his character as much
Yeah.
as he possibly could.
Yeah. My point exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know if Dan, if you had the experience of watching this podcast today at all.
No, actually, I missed it, but I have to wonder when they're conducting this this podcast, is Jericho biased at all towards the company that he is showing it, or is he doing it as a true journalist would?
On his regular, weekly podcast, or twice weekly podcast, actually, he's pretty much allowed to do whatever he wants. Being that he was on the WWE Network, I'm sure there were either limits put onto what he could ask, or actually a list of pre-approved questions
Right.
that he was allowed to ask.
Mm-hmm.
My assumption. But on his regular podcast, it's it sounds like he's just shooting from the hip, and he does his homework on whoever he has on. If he's not familiar with them personally, and he's got a list of their accomplishments, and he pretty much asks them about what's going on with their particular brand.
Right.
But I would imagine that WWE had some sort of approval.
Yeah, I'm sure being on that network, there had to be some like predetermined questions, or at least some kind of like, well, keep it clean, guys. Don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
Some kind of somebody said something before those cameras started rolling. I'm sure.
Of course.
But basically started out talking about Cena's classic 5 moves of doom. Which the John Cena generic match every end of every John Cena match has basically the same finishers.
Right.
The 5 things he does at the end, and Jericho was kind of pointing out that it seems like he's revising that a little bit, or doing things a little differently. He's trying to get away from that 5 moves of doom. Cena just seems like he's desperately trying to change certain things about himself to make himself just be a little more interesting.
Yeah, well,
Right.
He's not succeeding.
It's not really working too well.
No.
Right. Said that brought up the fact that now he's the U.S. champion. He apparently hopes to redefine what that title means, bring more meaning and importance to it. Possibly, give more people an opportunity to vie for that U.S. title than were ever previously seen. I remember when Dean Ambrose had the U.S. title when he was part of the Shield,
Right.
and he went over 1 month without even defending it.
Right.
It was kind of forgotten about once he held it.
Well, hopefully, I mean, they'll pay attention to the U.S. title, because the when Brockner had the WWE title, it was non-existent.
Right.
He didn't defend it, for what, 3-4 months.
At least.
It's just silliness to have your champion and him not be on your show on a regular basis.
Right.
And at least now Cena's going to be there every week.
Right.
And
Whether or not we like it,
Yeah.
he's going to be there.
but he's
Right.
going to be there.
we don't have to like
Right,
it, but
he's going to be there. And,
right.
I mean, I remember going back to TNA. They had they said every title was going to be defended every week, and
Yeah.
they did it for a very short period of time and just kind of strayed away from it.
When Hogan took over or something, and he's gonna make their TV title get defended once a week,
Right.
and it never happened.
Right.
Right. That I think maybe that could be a good move on WWE's part to put Cena in as the U.S. champion and not have him as world champion anymore. Give
Right.
somebody else that opportunity and bring more importance to the U.S. title once again.
Yeah.
Also hit on some funny stories. Everybody's got those funny stories from your early days in your career about traveling on the road.
Yeah.
Mentioned a little something about Funaki, due to the fact that Cena has this open challenge for the U.S. title. Jericho was kind of joking around about, well, what if Funaki came out here and challenged you for the U.S. championship right now, seeing as he lives right here in Austin, which is where it all took place last night.
Yeah.
So, I had some funny story about Funaki and Burger King and him wanting to go there all the time. I couldn't really remember too much of it, but right. And speaking total like fluent Japanese at one point, and then all of a sudden he broke into fluent English just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, come on, you gotta know what you're doing, how to talk by now. You've been here for so long.
Right.
He says apparently Cena says he has a similar vision, plan, whatever that Vince McMahon has. You know, a certain vision for success.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying. He'd like to see WWE take more tours of more different places on this planet, like India and China, for example.
Yes.
I recall one time when they did a tour of India and about half the roster became really sick. So I don't know how often that's going to happen anymore.
Right.
Interesting that he pointed that out. Then just Jericho recalling Cena starting the business with Ohio Valley Wrestling back before NXT, Florida Championship Wrestling.
Right. That's going back.
And he was in the same class with Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton and Batista.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Had to be a hell of a class.
Right. You're going back. Has to be early, like 2003, 4.
Right.
At least.
And what?
12 years.
That list was Batista, Randy Orton,
Batista, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar.
All champions.
And they all trained together.
Right. And they
at
all,
the same time.
at some point or another, became the champion of the company. So
I know.
You know, more power to them.
Exactly. Cena didn't really have too many aspirations as a kid. He says, growing up, becoming a professional wrestler, thought it was because it was such a well-kept secret, the business. And he didn't even know he lived 25 minutes away from Killer Kowalski's school. And if he had known that, maybe he would have gone there and trained. They touched on his neck surgery, John Cena's, of course. Real life problems with The Rock. This I did not know.
Yeah.
Now I do.
Well, I mean, it was rumored during that whole controversy,
Right.
their whole match and the build-up and what have you. And you can see that they have a rivalries DVD out.
Mm-hmm.
The Cena and The Rock. But it's hard to have that much ego in one room.
Right.
And The Rock arguably at one time was and remains larger than life.
Right.
And Cena, The Rock is multi-million-dollar box office guaranteed, and Cena's straight to DVD guaranteed.
Right. There was things that Rock was like. Cena's big hang-up, he said, was Rock going out there and talking all the stuff about him, and Cena not being able, given the opportunity to adequately fire back at him.
Well, that's the way The Rock works.
Right.
And if you're going to be in a program with him, you're going to have to come to expect it.
Right.
So.
And didn't really appreciate too much, I guess. Apparently there was some one day he had appears the People's Champion, and he's got what he's about to say to the crowd written on his arm. Thought that was a little bit phony.
Well, I mean, you have your notes, and most actors have either a teleprompter or some sort of cue card. I mean, you watch Letterman; he doesn't hide the cue cards. The cue card guy sometimes is in on the bit. So, if you're doing that much traveling and that much work, and he's got Monday Night Raw, Tuesday night they film SmackDown, house shows in between on the weekend and things like that. I don't see a problem with having your lines available to you.
Right. However you're able to do it.
Right. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. It's not like everybody could see it.
Right. It's not exactly lip syncing if you're a band.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't care for. But hey, sometimes you lose track of where you are and what you want to say. And the fans can start the chanting and cheering and all that. So.
But then they did touch on. I'll get to this in a minute because we have a call right now.
Yep.
They did get to the Cena possibly turning heel.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. You are live on the Squared Circle.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Got a question for you.
Yes.
With Sting's loss to Triple H at WrestleMania and the rumored loss that he's going to have upcoming in the next WrestleMania to The Undertaker, what do you think that's going to do to Sting's legacy?
I don't think it's going to harm it all that much. I mean, he's already cemented as a Hall of Famer, whether it's in WWE Hall of Fame or in New York's Hall of Fame or at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. So I just think, we all realize that it's going to be, what it is. Win or lose, it's probably going to be his swan song. And as long as he puts a good effort and puts a good match out there, I don't think the win or loss is going to hurt him.
Right. Sting's legacy is already intact. And I think a good tribute next year would be Sting taking on The Undertaker and possibly the two of them just walking away from the business together, win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
You got any thoughts on that, Dan?
WWE McMahon would let that happen?
I would.
Everybody thought he was going to beat Triple H.
Yeah,
is he just not going to let him win?
Again, I don't really think the win or the loss is the focus of it. It's a focus of having a good match and seeing these two warriors that have been in the business for well over 30 years.
Exactly.
And going out with a blaze of glory. And I really don't think the win or the loss is a matter of focus.
Right.
I think just the match and the opportunity to see these two guys walk off into the sunset together.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
And who's calling, by the way?
It's Superfan number 2.
Excellent.
Super fan number 2.
Excellent.
Superfan number 2. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's super fan number 2.
All right. All right.
Super fan number 1 is a little bit under the weather right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. Good question, though.
Right, definitely. Yeah, you don't see any harm to Sting's taking a loss next year at WrestleMania.
No, not at all. I think Sting's been around long enough. He's wrestled enough matches over his 30-year career that his fan base is going to be there and respect his body of work long enough that that ain't going to make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I honestly believe it's just the quality of the match and just the spectacle of seeing these two guys in the ring, in a WWE ring together.
Exactly. We have another call here. You're live on the Squared Circle.
What up, what up? Lucas Sharp here.
The 203.
The 203 himself. Thank you very, very much for calling, sir.
No problem at all. What's up, guys?
Well, the first thing that we want to do is thank you for such an incredible match for the PWA Squared Circle television title. You put on an awesome effort, and unfortunately you didn't come out with a W, but I'll tell you what, the fans won that night because you and Troy Stevens put on one hellacious match, and we really, really appreciate it, sir.
Well, that was a great crowd that night, and to be the first ever champion is something that nobody will ever forget. So obviously I'm very disappointed that I don't have that belt, but who knows, maybe soon it'll be around my waist. Maybe not the first champion, but if we can have another match like that, I know I could probably come out on top of Troy Stevens.
And what is the rumor, or can you confirm a rematch? Because Troy Stevens was on last week, and he kind of indicated that he was open to a rematch.
Well, based on the match alone, I would say that I would have to be a number one contender, regardless of the outcome of the previous match.
Right.
But considering the fact that myself, Troy Stevens, we pushed each other to the limit, I stretched him. You saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I dropped him on his head, dropped him on the apron, dropped him all over the place. He went flat on the outside of the ring. The title should have been mine, let's be honest, okay? Let's really be honest. The title should have been in the 203.
Well, you know what? I mean, it could have gone either way, and it really just came down to like a split second, and Troy just came out on top. But again, regardless of who won the match, the fans won by being entertained and seeing the two guys at the top of their game at the moment going at it and battling for it.
Definitely.
Well, every year that goes by, I try to stay in my prime.
Yep.
This year is no different.
And it's been, we've been trying to get you on the show, and we appreciate you calling in. And one day we'll get you down here in the studio.
Very soon, hopefully. I'm sorry I have to be at this fitting currently, but yeah, one day I have to get down there very soon.
We
Hang out with you guys.
we truly appreciate it.
Definitely.
What's coming up for Lucas Sharp?
This weekend, Friday night, Northeast Wrestling is at the Danbury PAL. We've got Alberto Del Rio versus Matt Taven for the Northeast Championship. We've got Matt Hardy versus Brian Anthony, all the Northeast stars. It's me, myself, and Frankie Arion versus Mikey Webb and Bandito Jr. Supposedly they're calling themselves Fight and Flight now. You should buy a ticket and show up just to see that corny nonsense with me and Frankie beat them down. And then Saturday night, up in Happy, Massachusetts, Lucas Sharp is returning to PvP. I'm going to be going one-on-one with the Shaft, Bobby Ocean.
Nice.
So this is Pioneer Valley, they call it?
Pioneer Valley, formerly New Age Pro Wrestling, or New Age Old School Pro Wrestling. Now it's PvP, Pioneer Valley Pro.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. We're going to have to get the contact up there and get some camera crews up there for the next event.
Definitely.
Yeah, you definitely should. I'll give you a little camera time.
Yep.
Definitely. We're always looking to expand. Definitely.
Yeah, if you had made it to the studio tonight, we have the Monkey Gate footage of you and Hollywood Jay doing some backdoor shenanigans.
Some business.
Little shady dealings going on, and we really want to get to the bottom of your victory over Saru.
Oh, get to the bottom of it? What is there to get to the bottom of?
Well, they're alleging that there's some grainy footage. We remember that day when you and I were talking, and we were talking business, and they for some reason think that I was paying you money or giving you some kind of money to put the monkey on the shelf.
Now, Hollywood.
Oh, are those the allegations?
It's something like that.
Now, Lucas, in all fair thing here, we have to admit that Hollywood did admit that he did do business with you.
And we have the two of you on security footage at a PWA event.
Right. They have us on. I have us on some grainy security footage. We were just talking, about what we, you remember that day, but it has nothing to do with the monkey. You and I both know that.
Business is business.
Yeah.
If the monkey is on the shelf, then he shouldn't have slipped on the banana.
But regardless, that did put you into the finals match with Troy Stevens, and again, it was just our pleasure and our privilege to have you be associated with that. And although you didn't come out on top, you're always going to be associated with that match, because when they talk of Troy Stevens being the first title holder,
right,
obviously your name is going to be connected with it.
Right. That match is going to be in a history book. That's going to be a question one day.
Yeah, that'll be in Trivial Pursuit one day.
Well,
People will remember the second ever champion, Lucas Sharp, much more. Mark my words.
Well, we're looking forward to another just fantastic match, and I don't know how you guys are really going to top that, but I guarantee that you have the talent and ability to do so.
Well, I'll drop him on his head 4 or 5 more times. Maybe that'll do the trick.
Well, it's almost like the suplex machine.
right. Suplex City.
Suplex City, bitch.
Hey,
Hello.
somebody else saying it, not.
And is there another project you're working on that we can talk about, or we're just sticking to the wrestling?
Primarily, I'm working on Elementary right now, the CBS hit series. We're about to close out filming on season 3. Be on hiatus for maybe 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks before we come back and start filming season 4. It's already been signed. That's on CBS, I believe, Tuesday night. I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
You're physically on Elementary, or you work with them?
I'm on the show. I'm Officer Garcia in the precinct.
That's fantastic. You know, you're gonna on your way to like movie stardom like The Rock.
I know.
Hey, you never know. You know, whatever pays the bills, that's what I say.
You know, I know Gail Kim is Hollywood Jay's favorite, but I'll take Lucy Liu anytime.
Right. Lucy Liu's on my bucket list too. I'd love to get her autograph one day.
With a B, is that
She's
is
great. She is
a
absolutely
bucket
tremendous.
list?
Bucket.
Calves on that woman.
Gotcha.
What's that again, Lucas?
She's got great calves. I can respect it.
Wow,
Wow.
Cav man,
She's just
that's
healthy.
that's awesome. Well, we truly appreciate your time. If there's anything, you have a website, you have a YouTube channel. What do you got that people can check the 203 Lucas Sharp out?
Just Facebook at Lucas Sharp and Twitter at the 203's Finest.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Definitely.
No problem.
Thank you very, very much, and we'll get you on real soon. I got your contact information, so next round of indie shows, if you want to come on and talk about your matches, we got a seat just for you.
Awesome. Maybe coming up on the Bethany days, we'll make contact.
Excellent.
We got your own table, in fact.
Oh, that's tremendous. I like that. Dressing room too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that as well.
Catering, some of that,
We
too.
got
Awesome.
catering, yeah.
I know.
Oh, you missed it. We had a hell of a dessert bar tonight. I think I gained
All right,
back the
bring in
10
the
pounds I
espresso
lost.
machine.
So, all right, my friend, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful
All right,
evening,
guys,
and good
take
luck
care.
with everything you're doing.
Thank you very, very much.
Have a nice one, guys.
You
right.
too. Bye.
Wrestling superstar, television superstar. You know,
Television super.
he's rubbing elbows,
He knows-
or calves, actually,
He knows
with
Lucy Liu.
with Lucy Liu. I think we're going to have to replace.
Well, we got Gail Kim.
Miss
We're going
Gail
to have
Kim.
to have another autograph over here with Lucy Liu on it.
My obsession with Lucy Liu goes straight to Kill Bill. She was fantastic, and
Not to mention Charlie's Angels.
that was okay. But Kill Bill is one of my favorite all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the scene in the snowy courtyard there, where she gets her head sliced off. You know, the scalp sliced off. Fantastic.
I haven't seen either movie yet.
Movie night,
Right.
Squared Circle movie
Well,
night.
he's so out of date, he probably remembers the original Charlie's Angels.
Well, yeah, Farrah was up there, you know.
He had the Farrah Fawcett poster, but he didn't hang it on the wall. He just held it up with one hand.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to this last point here on this Jericho podcast, they did talk about the possibilities of John Cena ever turning heel.
Yeah.
And it was brought up during that program with The Rock a couple years ago about him possibly turning heel, and he even said that he even went out and got all new ring gear, talked with the music people, and got all new entrance music and everything
I would love for that to happen.
for the John Cena heel turn. Everybody would have loved to have seen that happen.
Just the music alone,
Right.
You know, it's stale.
He has no issue with turning heel. His big issue is who's going to fill his shoes with the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Right.
Take a bride.
Right. Who's gonna take on that role? Because him turning heel, he's not going to be able to do that anymore.
Well, I think, I don't know. I can't get into the mind of a little kid, but
Right.
I think they would still want to meet John Cena. He's still John Cena, whether he's face or heel. I don't think his popularity would dwindle with that.
It could be a similar situation when they tried to turn Steve Austin heel,
Yeah.
and he was working with Vince McMahon, and they still cheered him anyway.
Yeah, I think it's like Hulk Hogan when they turned Hogan, NWO Black and White or Hollywood Hogan versus the yellow and red Hogan. It's still Hulk Hogan. You meet the man. It's still the biggest day of your life if you're a little kid idolizing him.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
He's almost like Hulk Hogan made heels cool.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Steve Austin definitely made being the heel cool.
Right. He was the anti-hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Piper?
You know,
Piper, probably
was good.
Austin the
CM
anti-hero
Punk,
more so.
CM Punk definitely
Definitely.
redefines, how to be a popular heel. And dropping the pipe bomb and all that. That's just going to be forever, referenced. From that day forward. So I think they can pull it off, and I don't think his his real estate is going to drop, you know, as far as popularity. But, you know, hey, if it does, then they can just switch him back,
Right.
you know.
And he says, you know, these guys, you know, what are you gonna do? Boo me? You guys boo me anyway.
Right.
Right. He even said that.
You know.
Right. I mean, let's face it. Right now, as far as Mr. Cena is concerned, nobody wants to see him. You know,
Right.
he's on Raw. He gets booed out of the building. So
Right.
the heel turn could work.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Start cheering me if I turn heel?
Right. Well, you remember when they put the mask on Hogan, and he insisted that he wasn't Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Maybe Cena can pull something like that off.
Mr. America. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then Cena
Or
can
when
get
they put
fired
the-
and come back into a mask.
Or when they made Andre the Giant one of the machines.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't know that was Andre the Giant.
No,
yeah.
no. Who would have ever guessed in a million years that it was Andre and Hulk Hogan was the other one? I think.
Just silly.
Silliness.
Yep.
Right. So that was the first edition of probably many editions to come of Chris Jericho Talk with Jericho on the
Talk-
WWE
Talk
Network.
is Jericho.
Talk is Jericho.
Yes.
Talk is Jericho. I gotta familiarize myself with the podcast.
Hey, he's just getting used to answering the phone. That's not too much pressure.
I gotta familiarize myself with podcasts in general.
Right.
Or,
Right.
well, I don't want to say anything, but you never
We did
know.
have Lurch on from. He does his own podcast. Remember that?
Oh, Lurch, of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget Lurch?
Yeah. See, look at that. That was a while ago, and you know,
Lurch and Dom's live broadcast.
there you go.
Right.
There you go. They're still running.
They're still running as far as I know.
Running strong.
Still using those cactuses, and I think they got a new studio, in fact. I don't think they even are in the basement anymore. I have to get a hold of him one
They're
of these
moving on up.
days. Moving
right?
on up.
There you go.
Now they're in the ground floor, maybe. Exactly.
They're in on the ground floor.
They're
see?
in on the ground floor.
Next
So
thing you know, deluxe apartment in the sky.
that's it. So Talk is Jericho replaced the Austin podcast because the rumors are, and we got to debate this issue,
Yep.
whether this is true or not. The rumors are that there is heat between Steve Austin and the McMahons right now, and that is why he is not on the network anymore doing his podcast.
Yes.
And it's because they were a little agitated about some of the questions being asked to Triple H or Vince McMahon. Austin is emphatically denying the whole thing.
Well, that furthers my case of Jericho being fed or being pre-approved before he asked the questions. That just proves my point right there. If you know, I wasn't aware of what you just said with Austin, but if they were upset with how Austin conducted the interviews, guaranteed they briefed, you know, Jericho before they went on air.
Right.
But I just got this message in, and we want to definitely mention this. Vinny V, good friend of the show, PWA referee, just refereed his last match. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Vinny V.
Yes, definitely. Happy birthday, Vinny V. We love you, man. We wish you all the luck in the world. We know he's going through some health issues, and I personally include him in my daily prayers.
Definitely.
And hope he's doing well and has a very, very happy birthday. So Vinny V, we love you, man.
Definitely. We say prayers for you all the time, sir.
Yep.
Ultimate Warrior.
And a year ago today was Ultimate Warrior's last appearance on Raw, and the following day, 1 year ago tomorrow, will be the anniversary of his passing. And
Very shocked about that.
yeah, we're still feeling it, and obviously we went over the tribute that WWE has in Warrior's name for Connor, and every year they're going to have the Warrior Award. So the legacy definitely lives on.
Right.
But it's hard to believe that a year ago, he was shaking the ropes for the very last time.
I know. You're here one day and you go on the next.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I'm gripping with that myself this week. It's going on 5 years for my father, and Friday will be the 1 year anniversary of my younger cousin Gretchen Williams Flanagan, who we dedicated a show in memory of last year.
Yep.
And the
I
Ultimate
recall.
Warrior collectively.
Right. I
We
recall
both
that.
lost them within a few days of one another.
Yeah. Well, I recall that. Yep.
Right. So.
But on a positive note, 2 weeks from today, I will be at the Squared Circle in Chicago.
There's another one.
Our namesake.
You bring your attorneys because that's kind of, you know.
Well, you know, it's owned by Lisa Marie Verone.
Right.
You know, Tara, Victoria, but yeah, I gotta say, you know, she set up this restaurant, used our name, and I'm gonna have some words with that Lisa Marie. You know, I love the girl. I love, you know, Lisa Marie, love her,
Right.
love her. But I'm gonna have to have some words with Lisa Marie Verone. Definitely.
About the Squared Circle.
Yes, of course.
Right.
But I you know, at least I'm gonna get some swag out of it.
Right.
You know, we got to get some swag, and we got to get on our contact at WWE. Where's our swag this week? Nothing.
I mean, you got this book from Eric Bischoff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a few years old.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's Eric Bischoff's autobiography.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And it made an appearance at WrestleMania.
Controversy creates cash.
There you go. There's
You know that.
Alundra Blaze took it out of the trash can.
I know.
So.
Took it out of the trash can and then took the women's title out of the trash can.
Right.
Right.
That trash can evolved
I know.
over the years, I guess.
I suppose since we're mentioning women now,
Sure.
AJ Lee.
Well, you want to report on that, or?
I'll let you give the opening rundown, and we'll.
Well, no, AJ Lee announced a retirement.
Right.
From the WWE, and recently on the Bleacher Report, the Bleacher Report said that the main reason behind her leaving WWE is that she is pregnant. And we just came earlier today. We came from the Blood Lab, and Hollywood J, you are not the father.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So the jury's still on. It might be me, but
Well,
we'll
that
have
might
to
make
see.
Philip Michael Brooks a little upset with you.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
you know,
You
if he wants to get
you might have to challenge you to a UFC match.
right. Well, you know, I only fight in the Squared Circle. I don't fight in the Octagon.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no corners to hide
no
in.
corners, huh? Hey now. So that's the latest about AJ Lee. That's the reason why. That's a good reason to announce your retirement.
Yeah, and you know, if you in retrospect, if you watch the match during WrestleMania, she laid on the on the mat for most of the match. She wasn't really doing the classic AJ Lee moves.
Right.
So you know, she was on the apron, knocked to the floor. Right, was on the floor for quite a while, got back up onto the apron, got knocked to the floor
Was
again.
probably just trying to protect herself just in case.
Oh, without a doubt.
Probably wasn't sure at that point.
Right.
Probably just took the test and was waiting for the results, and you know, can't really go, well, tomorrow's WrestleMania, you got to let me know,
Right.
kind of thing.
Well,
Right, and certainly the safety and health of her unborn child certainly comes first
Yeah.
before the world of wrestling.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at how Awesome Kong, or you know, she gets into the WWE and finds out she's with child, and
Off she goes.
off she goes. You know,
Right.
huge opportunity, but again, like as you said, wrestling and entertainment, or having a child, and I know that I cherish both of my boys and wouldn't trade them for the
Right.
world.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, what do organizations like the WWE or TNA do when a female becomes pregnant? That's on their roster. I mean, is it something that they frown upon, or what is it? It's an act of nature.
Right.
Well, we've seen, as in the case of Awesome Kong, we've seen Awesome Kong step away from the WWE when she became pregnant, had her child, came back to TNA.
Right.
So it's still, even though one chooses to step away for the safety and health of their child, and go through the process and spend time with those children, they can fully come back and have a successful career.
And Taryn Terrell is a good. I believe it's Taryn Terrell, right?
Right.
Is a great example of that. I remember a great ladder match with Gail Kim.
Yeah, and Taryn being the world's champion in TNA now.
and she's back, and she's the world champion,
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
And she's a mommy.
Right. You know, and it happens. You know, you see it on like sitcoms, and you know they hide them behind, you know, the girls behind couches, or they're at their kitchen counter, so you only see them, you know, from, you know,
Right.
the torso up, and you don't see the baby bump, and they work around it. It's a fact of life. You know, I mean, our you know, our purpose in the world is to procreate and you know, populate our species, and I know I have to, you know, it's a mitzvah for me to bring two young, you know, now men into the world, and, you know, within my faith,
Right.
and you know, so that we keep going for another 6,000 years.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's just a fact of life, and you know, you can't say to these men and women, you know, hey, this is your job, and you can't be, you know, normal people, you know, and
Right.
you can't, you know, enjoy what all of us, you know, everyone else does.
They may try to for business reasons, but there's really, I don't think legally there's anything they can do about it.
No.
Right. It's all covered under something they call the Family Medical Leave Act.
Right.
Right. So these, you know, all in any event, I mean, great luck in the future to AJ Lee and CM Punk, and congratulations to the two of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On being parents.
Oh, I'm sure.
Pretty soon to come, if you know.
Yeah.
If this is all, you know, all definitely what is going on with AJ Lee.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe somewhere down the road, we may see a second-generation superstar.
That's all, you know, how many right now are we looking at in WWE?
Exactly. Yeah.
know,
There's second
nepotism
generation.
is,
There's second generation. It's always father and son, or in Flair's case, father daughter.
Right.
But we may see a mother son.
Yeah.
Right, or if
Mother actually we see
Mother,
a
father, and
mother
son, right.
father and son, or and daughter.
right, or if you're Samoan, you got grandfather, father, mother. You know.
Right. Right. Or if you're a McMahon,
Right.
right, you know, Linda and Vince were
Right.
in the business, so
Exactly.
you know, active, you know, character roles. So
Yeah.
Definitely. Moving right along. What does anybody make of this situation, Steiner and Hogan WrestleMania? Behind the scenes, Steiner apparently running into Hulk Hogan's wife at an airport March 26th. This is according to TMZ,
Right.
and apparently threatening Hulk Hogan's life. And March 27th, the next day, they both file a police report with San Jose Police Department.
Personally, I don't comment on things that don't know all the facts about.
Right.
well, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You know, with Twitter and Instagram. And,
This is
you know,
TMZ too. I mean,
right,
you might
you know,
take it for what it is.
with
It might
up
not
to-
necessarily be
right, but with up to the second news, you know,
Right.
we're always getting speculation and
Right. Mm-hmm.
half the story, or you know, the story is absolutely wrong,
Yeah.
and then they have to go back.
Yeah, I'm not taking this as this is what they're saying happened.
Right.
Right. I'm
But
taking this as
Yeah, I've read
Right.
from a lot of different sources this, you know, allegation that Scott Steiner somehow, in some way, threatened the life of Hulk Hogan. But you know, until either the police report is you know, is
yeah.
freedom of information.
You can't really say you know, this is just a story that came. It's not. That's
Yeah.
all it is. You can't really say this is really what happened.
It's like where was that coming from? And, you know, he obviously there's got to be some heat for somebody to say that. You're just not going to just blurt that out without being some sort of confrontation, or you know, and why would you say that to the guy's wife? It's just
Right.
it's just bizarre.
Yeah. Well,
But you know, the controversy.
controversy creates cash.
You know, when's the last time anyone really talked about Scott Steiner? You know, and now his name is not only just in the wrestling news, he's in the mainstream.
All over,
Yeah,
everywhere.
in the
This-
mainstream
This is
news.
threatening Hulk Hogan.
So Hogan,
and
right.
we take threats this day and age very seriously.
Oh, without a
in
doubt.
the world we live in now.
Without a doubt. So
Right.
I mean, now you're getting national exposure, you know, outside the wrestling business for Steiner and Hogan. Might be a whole work just to get their names out in the media.
Right. Or work on Steiner's part anyway.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll have to.
It's all speculation.
We'll have to keep.
All speculation.
Keep our eyes
we're
open.
definitely under 20 minutes here before the end of the Squared Circle telecast this week. But Dan, it's your favorite part of the whole episode. TNA Impact.
Now let's see you handle it this week, Jay.
I'll handle it this week.
Can he do it? Do we have the faith in him?
Yes, we do.
I can do it. I can do it without even falling asleep.
Yeah, we're gonna
Without
have to.
falling asleep?
Right.
We're going to have
See,
to
I didn't even bother talking about.
That's right.
There you go.
Huh? What?
Right.
I'm sorry.
The Monday Night Nap.
Oh, yeah. Kurt Angle successfully this past Friday evening retained his TNA World title over Bobby Lashley. This was the main event. This was the rematch from 2 weeks prior where Lashley lost his belt to Kurt Angle.
So wait, they actually defended a world title on television?
They actually did that.
Wow.
They did that twice within 4 weeks.
Wow.
Because nobody buys their pay-per-view.
They don't have too many. Let's get this peanut gallery out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Please,
Security.
please, escort this man from the building once and for all.
I think.
Causing a ruckus.
Do we have money in the budget for a muzzle?
I'll allocate some. Also, Eric Young defeated Bobby Roode via submission, and in these two instances, there were problems with the referee, Brian Hebner. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
You can't call him McManigans because it's TNA.
A Hebner?
Hebner.
In shenanigans? Never
Right.
happens. Never ever happens.
So, where are they going with it, Dan? How come? What's up with Hebner being out of place all the time? Is it time for him to take his referee uniform and just put it away somewhere?
Well, you're saying is Hebner being out of place. The question is he really out of place? When you stop and think about
When
it.
you stop and think about it, is he really out of place? That would mean somebody is funding him to be out of place, possibly.
Possibly.
Why would
remains
somebody
to be seen.
fund him to be out of place?
Well, tune in and find out.
Tune into the
I
next
think TNA,
exciting
right.
episode of TNA on
Yeah,
Impact
I
Wrestling
definitely
on
think
Destination America.
that's correct. I definitely think that we're going to learn more about, this whole shenanigans.
With Hebner.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there was his father and uncle were Earl and Dave Hebner,
Correct.
twin
Correct.
referees
Yes. Yep.
for many years.
Right, and let's not forget what the twins brought us to wrestling over the years.
Right.
Montreal Screwjob. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know.
Google it.
Hebner was involved.
YouTube it.
You know,
Right.
if there was a Hebner involved in the absolute most controversial act in wrestling, then another Hebner, just follow suit.
That happens.
Yes,
it's a
sir.
it Hebnans, I guess.
Hebnans. Oh my! Wow.
I just created a word. Look at that.
Or he darn near tried.
The Wolves, unfortunately, have relinquished the tag titles due to a foot injury sustained by Eddie Edwards just as they captured those belts, and now they can't defend them. So they gave them up with no problem. With no problem.
Right, right.
Lesnar couldn't defend it because he was too whatever.
Right.
Didn't feel like it.
No.
Snowed in Minnesota.
All right. That's
Maybe.
enough, please.
Enough of the peanut.
Enough of the peanut
Where's-
gallery.
I'm gonna get the security guy in here. I'm serious. What is going on here? I'm a little disappointed to see them lose those tag belts like that. But again, injuries happen.
Right. Yeah. And then there's always a comeback, and there's always coming back with a vengeance, and on a mission to get those belts back. And I look forward to that. Their next run at the titles. So I think it's like you said, the injuries happen, and rather than just let them sit around with the belts and you don't defend them, hey, let somebody else have a shot at it, and when these guys are ready to come back, and put them right into the program. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, there'll be another exciting team coming up, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yep.
And we'll get those belts. Maybe they'll go back to the Revolution again. Who knows? Speaking of which, James Storm is desperately trying to recruit Magnus now for his little organization,
Yep.
Colts, whatever. Magnus and Bram brawled it out again. I believe Magnus defeated Bram via disqualification.
Personally, I would have rather see him try to recruit Bram. I'm not a big Magnus fan.
No.
Bram's a little more. Bram looks like he'd fit in.
Bram's a little more intense. He would kind of fit more into the Revolution better.
I think he would fit more with the Revolution too. I think just the way he looks too.
So what's that you say? You say you want a revolution? Is that?
See, yeah, I'm not gonna try to attempt.
We'd all love to see the plan.
Uh-huh. Gail Kim defeated Angelina Love. Speaking of
Gail
my
Kim?
favorite
Yeah.
here, Gail Kim.
There's Gail.
I'm a Gail Kim guy. Well, fan. Right. March 27th, TNA drew its largest combined audience since the lockdown special back in February. Impact featured the return of Jeff Hardy. It drew a combined audience of 608,000, up 11% from last Friday's show featuring Angle Lashley 1. The breakdown was 444,000 viewers for the original airing, 164,000 viewers for the West Coast replay airing. It was nearly the most West Coast replay viewers during Impact's run since it started on Destination America. For all you number crunchers out there,
Yes.
breaking it down.
Then the company continues to expand and reestablish itself in key markets.
Yeah.
They're now on the Fight Network in Canada,
Yes.
Right.
which is part of I believe, the Discovery
Family.
family. So they are
Umbrella.
Right. They are getting more channels, more exposure. Unfortunately, what we're looking at here, and these numbers let alone, is just the numbers on the Destination America channel here in America. We're not looking at the
You're
total
not
number
looking
of
at the
viewers.
total worldwide viewers.
Right.
Right.
And-
But
and-
for America, that's impressive.
It is.
If you're interested in the Canadian demographic, Ariel Hawani is on the Fight Network, and Ariel Hawani's got a podcast, and Pro Wrestling Report out of the podcast out of Canada. The two gentlemen that run that are huge wrestling fans, and it's an excellent podcast if you're, if you're into not only just WWE but.
But if he interviewed, that's the man that interviewed CM Punk at his house.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, Ariel Hawani, and he's just fantastic. He's one of the better wrestling minds out there, and anytime you can catch him on a podcast, Pro Wrestling Report, or on the Fight Network, he's definitely the guy to watch. So, Canada, it used to be you only got your local stations. Now with the internet, we got everything. We have all sorts of podcasts and shows like ours and the YouTubes and what have you. It's just so great as a wrestling fan now, where you used to have to wait. And I'm going back to the day where you had to mail a freaking VHS to each other to watch the matches. Now it's like right here in your hand.
Right, and I believe it's May 8th. You may have to correct me on that date, but I believe it's May 8th. They're doing a live broadcast on Destination America. And I
Definitely. We have another call here.
Wow.
Might be an interesting call here. You're live on the Squared Circle.
Hello? How you guys doing?
Hey, Roberto.
Roberto,
How are you doing? Is the better question, sir.
how is your injury coming along, sir?
Real good. I'm actually already starting to do my workouts and stuff. My dad just got all the equipment all set up already. So, I'm working at it there.
Fantastic. What did you think of the PWA show? We got you there in our executive limo,
Right.
and
It was great.
yeah,
I loved it. It was a great show and great matches, too.
well, you got to have the right answer for this. What was the best match of the night, my friend?
The Square Circle TV title match, of course.
There we go.
Of course.
There we go.
Of course.
And I already had my pick. I knew Trish Stevens was going to win.
Well, we weren't privy to any previous information, and we were as surprised as everybody else with the outcome.
Yeah. I had a feeling that Trey was going to win already. they've been saying it for a number of, a while, so I kind of figured that out myself.
Right. Well, Troy Stevens was definitely confident going into that match that he was going to win, and he backed it up. But, as we just talked to Lucas Sharp, I really think that regardless of who came out with the W, the fans won in that match.
In the end, the fans won.
Yeah.
I think the fans won all night around, don't you guys think?
Yes, definitely. I 100% agree with you, sir.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You guys should let me know. And I talked to my mom, so she said whenever you guys are ready and set, just let me know.
Oh, you're welcome. Again, you're always welcome to come on down and give your opinion and thoughts in person, because we appreciate you adding to our page daily.
Right.
And you're right on top of everything, and you're one of the better wrestling minds in Connecticut.
I think so.
Yeah, I do what I have to do. I do my research when it comes to something that I love doing a lot, so,
And that's fantastic. And I must say, my friend, right, you have such a sweet young lady that escorted you to the match, and
Right.
it was a pleasure to meet her. And you need to take care of her, because we'll come and give you a little smackdown of our own.
all right, I'll definitely keep that in mind. She enjoyed the show. She was the loudest one there. I was like, oh my.
Yeah, right.
She's never been to an actual thing like right there face, because she definitely doesn't really go anywhere. So I'm starting to take her out everywhere, so then she can see things that she's never seen before.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's good that you do that, and definitely look forward to seeing you again at
That's
the PWA events.
the
too.
way to treat a lady, my
Right.
friend.
We have to go wrap things up, though. Unfortunately.
No problem. If you guys want me to come down sometime, just let me know. Or something. I don't think I'm doing anything in 2 weeks.
Okay.
This week I'm gonna be a little busy, but the following week I really don't have anything to do.
You know what? If I may,
Go ahead.
in 2 weeks, I'll be in Chicago at this time in 2 weeks, so this chair is going to be vacant. I'm offering to give you up my seat right here in the center.
That's it.
Alright, sure.
So you got the center square, my friend,
That's it.
Alright, sure.
like on Hollywood Squares,
That's it.
Hollywood Squared Circle. There you go.
Alright.
All right, my friend. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Put it in the books.
Put it in the books.
Alright.
Mark it on your calendar.
I will.
All right, Roberto. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you very, very much.
You too.
Yep.
We got blowing off steam. We got time for blowing off
We got a
steam.
quick blowing off steam. I had some ROH news, but you know what? I'll put that onto the page, so
Right.
pay attention there.
And blowing off steam is always brought to you by American Steam. Steam cheeseburgers at 92 Quinnipiac Street in Wallingford. AmericanSteam.com. They set us up with a hellacious spread tonight. It was fantastic, and the dessert bar was out of this world. So we always thank our friends at American Steam. You have a blowing off steam?
Well, it's not more of a blowing off steam. It's just really a heads up for our viewers out there who enjoyed us last time. This coming weekend, Hollywood Jay and myself we'll be back down at American Steamed, 92 Quinnipiac Street,
Yeah. Yep.
on Saturday,
Saturday.
and we look forward to seeing everybody out there.
What are we doing out there?
We are doing our good news now
There we are.
with Mr. Dacey.
There we are.
Right.
Mr. Dacey lives there.
Mr.
So.
Dacey lives there.
Yeah.
I have no blowing off steams for this week. I'm just glad we had a positive show.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll second that. So
Definitely.
definitely.
But for now, I'm Hollywood J. Williams, Mr. Ruckus Zimmerman,
Right.
Dangerous Dan. Good night and good luck. We'll see you next Tuesday.